Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the March 11th, 2018 special edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, WWE, and this edition is a special one because I will be giving my predictions for this evening's pay-per-view Fastlane. Now, before I get into discussing my predictions and listing all the matches, I should note that entering tonight's pay-per-view, my pay-per-view prediction correction percentage is for the year since the first pay-per-view after last year's WrestleMania is 54 correct out of 93, which gives me an overall correction or overall success rate of 58%. However, I should note that the last pay-per-view before Fastlane tonight, which was Elimination Chamber, was the first pay-per-view thus far where I guessed every single match result correctly. So I went 5 out of 5 on that one. So I am officially on a bit of a roll. So I'm hoping to continue that success with tonight's predictions. Tonight's pay-per-view, Fastlane, features 6 matches, and it's also a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. And it's also the final pay-per-view before the big WrestleMania event next month. So the 6 matches on the card tonight. The first one is one that was announced just this past week on SmackDown Live, which is a tag team match between Becky Lynch and Naomi taking on Natalya and Carmella. This one is not the easiest one to predict because it was just thrown together in this past week, and I just have a feeling that this might go against what I believe, but I'm going to go with the fan favorites on this one, Becky Lynch and Naomi. I would like to see one or both of these women involved in the SmackDown Women's Championship match come WrestleMania, and I think earning a victory tonight would hopefully address that situation and allow them to be a part of that match, because that whole the SmackDown Women's Championship at the moment, it's very unclear as far as what's going to happen come WrestleMania, what the matchup's going to be, which competitors and how many competitors will be featured in that match. But I still am led to believe that with the number of heel characters in the SmackDown Women's roster right now, I'm just going to go with Becky Lynch and Naomi being successful tonight. And certainly Becky, I think, above anyone else, deserves a shot at the WrestleMania, at the championship at WrestleMania. It's been a while since she's had a real title opportunity, so I would like to see personally that Becky Lynch gets in this match somehow. But first step in doing so is winning the last match at the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. So that is why I am selecting Becky Lynch and Naomi to be victorious in this first match. The second match on the card is also one which was just announced this past week, which is Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Rusev. I have to say this is probably, under normal circumstances, I think this would be a better match, but to me this is probably the most obvious matchup on the card this evening. And the reason being is that since we already know Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be in the title match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, the last thing the WWE wants to do is make Nakamura look weak or suffer a bad loss on the road to WrestleMania. And even though Rusev is his popularity is probably at an all-time high right now, and the WWE, I think, is aware of this and wants to elevate him and probably give him some opportunities, I don't see him being victorious over Nakamura at this point in time. Perhaps they will. It'll be a good matchup, hopefully, and they'll maybe do a program again in the coming months. But for now, in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, I don't see even on this pay-per-view or any of the programs leading up to WrestleMania Nakamura losing to anyone. So, but since I can't make predictions for the television during the television broadcast, I'm going for this is the last match before WrestleMania for him, and I'm saying wholeheartedly that Shinsuke Nakamura will win this match. Now, the third match of the night is a match that we are certainly, this is not something we're seeing for the first time, which is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships between the champions, the Usos, taking on the New Day. These two teams have definitely been some of the most decorated tag teams in recent years in the WWE, and we've seen them do a lot of battles over this past year. This is one of the matches which I believe is going to have a very controversial finish, and the reason being because I believe there will be some outside interference. In recent weeks, whenever these two teams have been cutting promos in the ring, they've been interrupted by the tag team of the Bludgeon Brothers, which is Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. And I think that is totally justifiable, and I think it makes sense that we're starting to see the Bludgeon Brothers now get involved into the big championship limelight, because they've been around now as the new incarnation of the Bludgeon Brothers for the last few months, and they've spent many weeks on TV fighting no-name local competitors, which is when you have a roster as large as the WWE has right now, fans shouldn't be tuning in on TV and seeing unknown local competitors compete against top superstars. So they're clearly, now's the time, because they're running the well's running dry here. So the Bludgeon Brothers, I believe, are gonna impact this match, and I believe they will, after lots of deliberation, I think that they are gonna disrupt the Usos' championship reign, and the New Day will somehow manage to capture the titles here. I mean, this could also result in a disqualification or a no contest. I've thought about both of those, but I ultimately think, and this has to do with my predictions for a little bit later on this pay-per-view here, I think that there will be a change of the titles and the New Day will win. And it will then set up a triple threat, another triple threat match for WrestleMania, because we're going to have many of those come WrestleMania time. But I think the WrestleMania will shape up for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships to be a triple threat with the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. So in the meantime, I think the New Day is going to win the titles once again on this night, and then we'll see how this shapes up for WrestleMania. But I'm quite sure it's going to be a triple threat tag team matchup come WrestleMania time. So anyways, the New Day, I believe, will win the titles back tonight. Moving on to the fourth match, which is for the United States Championship between champion Bobby Roode taking on Randy Orton. We've learned in the last several weeks that Randy Orton, this is the last title which he has not won to complete the career Grand Slam in the WWE. So I certainly think he has a good chance of winning this belt, if not tonight, very soon. But similarly to the last match with the tag team titles, I believe this one is also going to have a messy finish with some interruption. And the interference that's going to take place will be with Jinder Mahal, who's certainly done his battles with Randy Orton over this past year many times, but for the WWE Championship. So I can see him also affecting the outcome of this match. And this was another one. This one in a tag match, to be honest, were the two on this card that I gave the most thought towards because of any number of results which can occur. Again, this could very easily be a disqualification or a no contest. But I am going to opt to choose that Randy Orton will win the title. I don't know. It may not be intentional of Jinder Mahal that he wants that. I'm guessing that Jinder Mahal is going to interrupt and probably try to attack both men and cause destruction for both of them. But I have a feeling that Randy Orton might slip away and be able to capture the title tonight over Bobby Roode, which again would set up another triple threat, I believe, for WrestleMania for the United States Championship belt with Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and Jinder Mahal. So I don't hope I'm wrong with this prediction, but I hope I'm wrong with the number of triple threat matches we're going to see come WrestleMania time. But again, I think it's very unlikely, just given the number of bodies that they're trying to fit onto the WrestleMania pay-per-view card. It's already going to be a 5-hour show, but they still have to try and fit many, many different male and female competitors on that roster. So anyways, I am going with another title change occurring. Randy Orton will win his very first United States Championship match tonight, I believe. Moving on to the fifth match, which is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I was already talking a little bit earlier about how this division, how there's a lot of heel characters going on the SmackDown on the women's roster right now. You have Charlotte Flair tonight will be taking on Ruby Riott, who is from the Riott Squad. And right there, that's a heel faction that's just recently been a part of the WWE. So you have you have 3 heel characters there, plus Natalya and Carmella. They're pretty loaded when it comes to heels that can possibly do programs with some of the babyface good guy or good girl characters, with Charlotte Flair is one right now, as well as Becky Lynch and Naomi are also the babyface characters. So, and I also the fact that Ruby Riott hasn't been in the company that long yet, I don't think she's due for a championship, to earn a championship just yet. I fully believe that Charlotte Flair will retain, but it's anyone's guess what they're going to do for next month with all these different female competitors, how they're going to involve them in the matches at WrestleMania. But I do think Ruby Riott will probably win the championship this year, but it's not. I don't think her time is just yet. I think she's still too early on in her WWE career here to win such a prestigious championship. So my prediction is Charlotte Flair will retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. And now on to the main event of the evening, which is for the WWE Championship. We have a 6-pack challenge with 6 competitors. Again, with what I'm saying, with how there's so many matches nowadays with way too many competitors in each match. So here's yet another example. We have 6 competitors competing for the WWE Championship. The 6 competitors are the champion AJ Styles, John Cena, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin. To me, I don't see this is only really coming down to one of 2 persons in this match, which is AJ Styles or John Cena. I believe that Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, they're not going to come anywhere near a WrestleMania top championship match, at least not this year. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they've been a big part of the storyline for many months, but I feel that their WrestleMania matchup is going to involve Shane McMahon somehow as the next few weeks unravel and we see how they develop this story. But either way, I don't believe either one of those guys, the company is going to slot into the main WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. So it's either one or both of AJ Styles and John Cena in my view. And as I was sort of mentioning on my podcast for SmackDown and Raw just for this past week, I feel that AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura is a match that the company is well aware of, that most fans would love to see this matchup. They haven't had this match occur on SmackDown Live or any other pay-per-view yet for a very good reason. And the reason being that I think they're saving it for WrestleMania. Which does leave what John Cena's role will be up in the air come WrestleMania time. And I did say on my last podcast that I'm still holding out hope that Undertaker will be healthy enough to go, and him and John Cena will have their long-awaited WrestleMania matchup against one another. So that's what I'm hoping for. I think AJ Styles will retain the belt tonight and go on and face Shinsuke Nakamura, which has always sort of been the plan since Nakamura won the Royal Rumble back in January. So there you have it, folks. Those are my predictions for the 6 contests for tonight. We'll see if I can keep my recent perfect streak going. But either way, I do think we're going to definitely have some clarity about WrestleMania after tonight, even more so now. So things are really starting to take shape for the big WrestleMania card in April. So there you have it. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe below if you liked my predictions and like what you heard today. And feel free to leave any comments or questions below as well. So thanks very much for listening, and see you next time.